अच्छा, किसी का क्वेश्चन है अभी? बरीरा, क्या मसला है, क्यों आवाज नहीं आ रही है? तो सबको नहीं आनी चाहिए आवाज, या अगर किसी को कुछ को नहीं आ रही है तो उनकी नेट का प्रॉब्लम है फिर। Horeland Khalid. Horeland caparels are the plants or the flowers which have 4 petals and 4 sepals. So brassica is normally having 4 petals. Okay. Okay. So this was the first one. Again, I'm going to tell you the second now. Again, you have to be attentive and you have to answer me at the end. I will ask answer. जी, मस्टर्ड इज अ प्लांट, सरसों का पौधा जिसे हम कहते हैं। माहीन शेख, सरसों का पौधा, मस्टर्ड। Okay, so we are moving to the next now. Then again, you have any questions you can ask at the end. Okay, so the classification of brassica we have studied. Now we are moving to the classification of man. Okay, the common name is man. Its kingdom is Animalia, belongs to animals. Its phylum or division is Chordata, that is having vertebral column. Its class is Mammalia, that belongs to mammals. Their order is primate, okay, having 5 fingers and 5 fingers in the hands and in the feet. Its family is Hominidae. Hominidae means an organism which is like human beings. Okay, its genus is Homo and its species is Sapiens. Again, I'm repeating, the common name is man. Its kingdom is Animalia. Its phylum is Chordata. Its class is Mammalia. Its order is primate. Okay, its family is Hominidae. Its genus is Homo and its species is Sapiens. Okay, Animalia is the kingdom. Chordata is the phylum. Mammalia is the class. Primate is the order. Hominidae is the family. Homo is the genus, and Sapiens is the species. So again, let's come back to the screen and let me ask you, Barira and what? Okay, so now Maheen Sheikh, can you tell me the scientific name of? Can you tell me the scientific name of human beings?
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens. Okay. Barira chordata means organisms having backbone, vertebral column. Okay.
Sir, the class of a man is the order of a man is no, sorry. Yes, sir. Order of a man is primate. What is the meaning of primate?
Primate mean organisms which normally have 5 fingers in the hands and in the feet. Okay, 5 digits, 5 claws, like we have 5 fingers in our hand.
And sir, what is hominidae?
Hominidae is an organism which look like human being. So all the organisms which look like human being comes under the group of hominidae, like chimpanzees, like monkeys, and many more. They comes under hominidae. Chordata, chordata means organisms having backbone, like for example our vertebral column. You can also call them vertebrates. Chordata or vertebrata, you can call them vertebrata as well. Okay, now we are going to move toward the next topic. Now we have to study about the organisms. The next organism we are having is frog. So again, the common name of this organism is frog. Its kingdom is Animalia, just like the man. Its phylum is Chordata. Again, they have the backbone in them. Okay. Uh, its class is Amphibia. Amphibia means dual-like, dual organism, dual life organisms. Its order is Salienta or Anora. You can write both of them or you can write any of them. Okay. Salientia is the new name and Anora was the previous one. The family is Renidae. The Renidae are the organisms which is normally frog-like. Okay. Its genus is Rana and its species is Tigrana. So again, kingdom is Animalia, phylum is Chordata, class is Amphibia, order is Salientia, Anora. Okay, family is Renidae, its genus is Rana, and its species is Tigrana. Okay, Animalia is its kingdom, Chordata is its phylum, Amphibia is its class, Salientia is its order, Renidae is its family, Rena is its genus, and Tigrana is its species. Okay, so let's go back to the screen. Hominidae. I told you hominidae are the animals which look like human beings. Isha, which look like human beings. Hominidae. Okay.
Sir,
Now,
the fam.
Kehkisha Tariq, can you tell me the scientific name of frog?
Sir, may I tell?
Kehkisha, where is Kehkisha? Okay, Hurulan. Rana tigrana. Okay, Rana tigrana, the scientific name of frog. Okay, Anora. Anora is Salientia organism having moist skin. They have moist skin.
And sir, the family of the frog is Renidae. What is Renidae?
Renidae mean organisms which are frog-like, like toad, salamander, frog, and many more. They are frog-like organisms. Okay. So, is there any other question?
Sir, can you again explain Anora? What is Anora?
Anora are organisms who have moist skin. Their skin is slimy and moist
Okay.
because they use their skin for respiration. So that is moist.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. It's okay. Okay. Now we are moving toward the next topic. Again, I'm presenting the topic. Watch the topic very carefully because again, I'm going to ask people question in the end, and you have to answer. So moving on. This was regarding the three animals, the three organisms, two animals and one plant. Mustard was the plant, frog, and man were the animals. So we discussed about them. Now let's move toward the next topic. The next topic we are having is two kingdom systems of classification. Now we have formed the kingdoms of the organisms and we have classified organisms according to that. So in the beginning, we only knew that there are two kingdoms. One is plant, second is animal. And we didn't knew about the other organisms. Okay, so we are discussing from the very scratch, from the very beginning, that how we basically started to classify the organisms. So let's see how we started to classify the organisms. First of all, the two kingdom classification. In this system, we have classified the plants and animals in, all the organisms in two kingdoms. Okay, one kingdom was plant kingdom, and second kingdom was animal kingdom. And what was the basis of this classification? The basis of this classification was two things. It was basically cellular level. We classify them on the basis of their cells. Okay, so one was the organism which contains cell wall and chlorophyll, and second was the organism which do not have cell wall and chlorophyll. So the organisms which have cell wall and chlorophyll, we kept them in kingdom plantae. Okay, we call them plants because they have cell wall and they have chlorophyll in their cell. So all the organisms which had cell wall and chlorophyll in their cells, they were called plants and they were put in the kingdom of plants. And all the organisms which do not have cell wall and chlorophyll, they were kept in the animal kingdom. So initially we made these two kingdoms. One was plant kingdom, second was animal kingdom. In plant kingdom, we kept the organism who contains cell wall and chlorophyll in its cell. And in animal, we put those organisms who do not contain any cell wall and chlorophyll in their cells. So this was the two kingdom classification. But later on, as the technology arises, microscope came and many other things were introduced, it came to know that normally there are lots of organisms which were not fitting into these two categories. Okay, some of them were having like organisms that did not have the cell wall and they did not have the chlorophyll. Okay, or some of them have chlorophyll, some but they do not have the cell wall, or some of them have the cell wall but they do not have the chlorophyll. So basically there was some confusion. To remove and reduce that confusion, a scientist whose name was Robert Whittaker, he gave a new system of classification, and that system is known as five kingdom classification. Okay, so until now we studied the first one, that is two kingdom classification. And we discussed in the two kingdom classification that all the organisms of the world were classified into two kingdoms. One was kingdom plant and second was kingdom animals. So in plants, we placed all the organisms which contain cell wall and chlorophyll in their cells. And in animals, we put all the organisms which do not have the cell wall and chlorophyll in their cells. So these were the two initial kingdoms. But there was problem in these two kingdoms. Some of the organisms were not fitting to them. So we needed to have a new system for that. And for that new system, Robert Whittaker worked and he proposed a new classification system. That system is known as Robert Whittaker five kingdom classification. So before we go to the Robert Whittaker five kingdom classification, if you are having any question regarding this one, you can ask so that we can move to the next then. Yes, I will share the slide, inshallah. Don't worry about the slides. Okay, now if you are having any question regarding the two kingdom classification, you can ask here so that we can move on.
Sir, can you again explain the second last point, which was that some of the animals can't clearly fit in
Yeah, some of the
any.
organisms were not clearly coming in one of the category. Like for example, we are having fungus. Okay, fungus is an organism which contain a cell wall, but it do not have chlorophyll in them. So where will we put that? We will put that in animals or in plants. It was not occurring in any of the category. Okay, so there was some problems in that system, and we needed to address that. So for that, what we did, first of all, Robert Whittaker worked on that, and he introduced a new system that is called the five kingdom classification. We will study that later. We will study that. Look now, wait. अभी तक तो हम सिर्फ two kingdom classification को discuss कर रहे थे, and in that only animals and plants were occurring. But as I told you that there were problems in that, some of the organisms were not fit enough in that, so we moved on to the next one. So we'll study in the next one where we keep microorganism. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Well, so now we are going to study
Sir?
about the Robert Whittaker G.
सर मैं पूछ रही थी कि जब ये फंगस था तो मतलब उस वक्त तक जो क्या कहते हैं सर माइक्रोस्कोप वो इन्वेंट हो गया था सर.
ये जो टू किंगडम क्लासिफिकेशन की बात हो रही है, दैट इज वेरी एंशियंट. ओके, दैट ये बहुत पुरानी बात है. बाद में जब माइक्रोस्कोप इन्वेंट हुआ, हमने सेल्स की स्टडी की अच्छी तरीके से, डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनिजम्स के सेल. माइक्रोस्कोप वाज इन्वेंटेड लेकिन इतना ज्यादा एडवांस नहीं था. एंड जैसे वो एडवांस होता रहा, सो वी गेट टू नो अबाउट न्यू थिंग्स. We get to know about the cells and their structures more easily and more precisely. So then that the problem came, and we needed to improve that. There were a lot of systems, two kingdom classification. There was a lot of scientists who worked on that. But initially, we normally don't know about the scientists' names here. But there was a few of the scientists, not one. We do not
So
discuss that much because that was not a correct system. Okay, so which one the correct system, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss the Robert Whittaker, and after that the systems which we can discuss, we'll discuss that, and the scientists who provided that. But the two kingdom classification is not that much prominent system. We just keep to remember that because it is one of the way, so we have to remember that. But actual thing, the actual classification is of Robert Whittaker, and then after that the children and so on, we will study that. Okay, so can we move on now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are going to Faviha. If you are listening to me, I am telling you that it was not given by one scientist, but it was a group of a lot few scientists who worked in the ancient times, like the Greek times. Okay, and after that. So it's not a modern thing. It's a very, very, you can say, old thing. Okay. Now we are moving to the next topic. The next topic we are having is, now this one is important. Okay, this one is important. It can be asked in the exams because time and again this question is asked. Robert Whittaker five kingdom classification. You need to remember this classification, the names of the kingdoms, and what kind of organism he put in these groups. So let's study about the Robert Whittaker system. Robert Whittaker's system contained five kingdoms, and he proposed this system in 1969. Okay, Robert Whittaker proposed his five kingdom system in 1969 to avoid the confusion which was created by two kingdom classification. So, according to Robert Whittaker, his first kingdom is Kingdom Monera. Okay, in Kingdom Monera, Robert Whittaker put all those organisms which were prokaryotic, and they were getting their foods by variety of methods. Okay, keep the questions in your mind. If there is any question, we will go back to the screen and then you can ask the question. But first listen to the lecture. Okay, so there all the prokaryotic organisms were placed. Prokaryotic organisms are those organisms who do not have a true nucleus in their cells. So their cells do not contain a true nucleus. Okay, like for example, bacteria. Bacteria were kept in Kingdom Monera. Just like cyanobacteria, it was put in Kingdom Monera because it does not contain a true nucleus and it can get its food by different kind of methods. We'll study that in chapter number 4, sorry. Then the second kingdom of Robert Whittaker was Kingdom Protesta. Okay, in Kingdom Protesta, Robert Whittaker put all the unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, there are two things. One is unicellular organism made up of one cell. Second is eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are those organisms who have a true nucleus in their cells. So their cell contain a true nucleus and they get their food by variety of methods. Okay, so this was the second kingdom of Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker's third kingdom was Kingdom Fungi. In Kingdom Fungi, Robert Whittaker put multicellular eukaryotes. It means that multicellular mean organisms having more than one cell. They were multicellular and they were eukaryotes. Eukaryotes again mean that they were having a true nucleus in their cells, which feed heterotropically by absorption. Okay, heterotropically means heterotropic nutrition is a kind of nutrition or a kind of feeding in which the organism cannot make their own food and they are dependent on others. Okay, they are dependent on others. So fungus are multicellular, eukaryotic. They cannot prepare their food, but they get their food from other organisms by absorption. Absorption means they grow on other organisms and then they inject their root-like structure that is called haustoria in the body of that organism and get its food from that, absorb its food from that, those other organisms. Okay, the fourth kingdom of Robert Whittaker was Kingdom Plantae. And Kingdom Plantae, Robert Whittaker put multicellular eukaryotes which feed autotropically by photosynthesis. Okay, heterotropically means they cannot prepare their food. Autotropically means they can prepare their own food, and by the process of photosynthesis they prepare their food and they feed themselves. Okay, the last kingdom of Kingdom five kingdom system of Robert Whittaker was Kingdom Animalia. So Kingdom Animalia contain multicellular eukaryotes which feed heterotropically by ingestion. Again, they cannot make their own food, but they get their food by injecting things into their mouth, like we do. Okay, we inject something, insert something into our mouth. This is called ingestion. Heterotropically mean we cannot make our own food. Autotropically means the organisms can make their own food. So this was the five kingdom classification which was proposed by Robert Whittaker. Okay, initially this system has reduced and resolved a lot of problems which was created by two kingdom classification, but still it needed to be improved. We will study some of the drawbacks of this system, but before the drawbacks of the Robert Whittaker system, let's see if you have any question here. You can ask your question now. Okay, prokaryote. Okay, one by one. Okay, prokaryote. First lesson, what prokaryotes are. It is made up of two Latin words. One is pro, second is karyons. Okay, two Greek words, pro and karyons. So pro mean false and karyon mean nucleus. Okay, they are the organism which contain a false nucleus in them. It means their nucleus is not organized. So when the nucleus is not organized, we call them prokaryotes. Last two kingdoms समझ नहीं आई. Oh, Sayyida Fatima Jamshed. Last two kingdoms is Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Regarding Kingdom Plantae, mics should be closed for a while. Okay, Sayyida Fatima Jamshed. Kingdom Plantae, he said that it contains multicellular organisms. They will be eukaryotic. Now, what multicellular are? Having more than one cell. What eukaryotes are? Their cells contain a complex nucleus like we have. Okay, and then they say that normally they will get their food. They will get their food by photosynthesis. It means they will prepare their own food. Okay, animals on the other hand cannot make their own food. They will get their food by injecting food into their mouth. Like for example, हम नवाला लेते हैं अपने मुंह के अंदर डालते हैं. It's called injection. Aisha Javed, what do you think? Which group is ours?
Kingdom Animalia.
Animalia, definitely. We comes under the group of animals. Okay. Now, Arisha Khuram, Protesta contain unicellular organism which contain only one cell. Okay. And they are eukaryotic. It means they have a true nucleus in their cell. Okay. And they can get their food by different methods. Like for example, we are having amoeba, we are having Chlamydomonas, we are having Euglena. These are the organisms which contain one cell. They have a true nucleus in them, and they get their food by a variety of method. Kingdom Monera is the kingdom which contain all the prokaryotes. Okay, prokaryotes mean they do not have any kind of true nucleus in their cells, and they get their food by different methods. We will study in chapter number 4 and 5 regarding this as well.
Sir, what is autotropically?
Autotropically mean some organism can prepare their own food. So when organism can prepare their own food, we call their autotrophs.
And so, what is ingestion?
Ingestion means taking the food and inserting it into your mouth. Heterotropically means they cannot prepare their own food. Done?
Sir, what is meant by true and false nucleus?
True and false nucleus mean if the nucleus contain a nuclear membrane, so it is a true nucleus. If a nucleus does not contain a nuclear membrane, it is a false nucleus. We will study in chapter number 2. जब हम chapter number 2 पढ़ेंगे, तो हम prokaryote, eukaryote को पढ़ेंगे.
Sir, why did the scientist name the kingdoms specifically? Like Kingdom Monera.
That's up to them. Doesn't matter. Okay. Whenever the scientist or the discoverer are going to make something, they can give the name according to what they want. It's up to them.
Sir, and what is the meaning of protesta?
Protesta is a group of organism. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, it's the group of organism which contain unicellular and eukaryotic organisms which can get their food by variety of methods.
Okay, sir.
अगर न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन है लेकिन कोई और चीज मिसिंग नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. अगर न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन होगा तो फिर वो एक ट्रू न्यूक्लियस कहलाएगा. ठीक है, दैट विल बी अ ट्रू न्यूक्लियस. न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन के बाद कोई चीज गायब नहीं होती है फिर. गॉट इट?
सर न्यूक्लियस खुद मल्टीप्लाई हो सकता है ना?
न्यूक्लियस डिवाइड करता है ना, जाहिर सी बात है. ड्यूरिंग अ सेल डिवीजन इट विल डिवाइड. It will divide during the cell division. When the cell divides from 1 to 2, first of all its nucleus divides. We will discuss that in chapter number 2. Don't worry about that. Okay. So can we move to the next now? Okay. Okay, so we are
Yes,
moving
sir.
to the next. Okay. Let's now we have discussed the 5-kingdom classification which was proposed by Robert Whittaker. Remember, again I'm telling you, this is very much important question. Okay, the question can be asked from you in the exams. Let's move to the drawbacks in this system. When this system was introduced, there was some drawbacks. Okay, the first drawback was regarding protesta, kingdom protesta. Okay, what he put in kingdom protesta? He put in kingdom protesta all the unicellular organisms. Okay, the second problem was regarding alga. Alga is a kind of organism which contain a cell wall, which contain chlorophyll. It can be unicellular as well. It can be multicellular as well. So it was just like alga were put in kingdom protesta as well and in kingdom plenty as well. So it was the wrong thing. We need to put an organism in one group. We cannot put that in two groups. Okay. So when we put that in one group, it is good and a correct classification. But when we are going to put that in two different groups, the classification is wrong. There is something wrong in that classification then. So there is a little bit confusion in the classification of Robert Whittaker, which is needed to be answered and which is needed to be resolved. So to resolve Robert Whittaker's scheme, two other scientists whose name are Modulus and Schwartz, they came forward, and in 1989, these two biologists modified the scheme given by Robert Whittaker. Okay, now let's discuss the drawbacks first, and then we will discuss the Modulus and Schwartz classification. So if you have any question regarding the drawbacks, you can ask.
Sir, what was the thing in the first drawback?
Okay, let's see. The drawbacks was regarding protesta and alga. Okay, so normally what did Robert Whittaker do? According to Robert Whittaker classification, he called protesta where we can keep the organisms which have which are unicellular, which are eukaryotic, and can get their food by variety of methods. There was protesta. And then he called in plants, he said that we will keep all the multicellular organisms which will be eukaryotic and they will get their food autotropically by photosynthesis. So the problem occur in alga. Now alga is a group of, we will study alga in chapter number 5. Alga is the group of organisms which are unicellular as well as multicellular both. They can be unicellular as well and they can be multicellular as well. Okay, they have a true nucleus in them. So if an organism is unicellular and multicellular as well, where will we put that? We cannot put that in two separate groups. According to Robert Whittaker, alga comes under two groups. One is protesta, second is plenty. Okay, one is alga, second is plenty. So what did he do? He made some mistake. We cannot put that in two groups. We have to put that in one group. So for that, modification was needed, and that modification was done by Margulis and Schwartz. Rubab, कोई टेंशन नहीं ले. I am recording this as well, and inshallah I will send the recording as well. Don't worry about that. Okay, just listen to the lecture, follow the lecture, and inshallah I will send that. Don't worry about that. Okay, any other question? Or we should move to the last topic. आज ये टॉपिक कंप्लीट करना है. यशफीना, आई नो क्लास का टाइम खत्म हो चुका है. अगर थोड़ा सा ज्यादा टाइम दे दोगी तो कोई मौत नहीं आएगी आपको. Okay, so now we are moving to the last topic. छोटा सा टॉपिक है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है, तो चैप्टर आपका वाइंड अप हो जाएगा. Okay, so now we are presenting the Margulis and Schwartz classification. Okay, according to Margulis and Schwartz, they were supposed to resolve the problem that were occurring in the classification of Robert Whittaker. So they explain the organism a little bit differently. Okay, their first kingdom is kingdom Prokaryota. Okay, you studied in Margulis and in Robert Whittaker. The first kingdom was kingdom Monera. They changed the name of Monera and they converted that into Prokaryota. Okay, and in this group they include all the prokaryotes. For example, bacteria and cyanobacteria were put in kingdom Prokaryota. Okay, the second group in which we studied that was kingdom Protista. They changed the name of Protista into Prokaryotes. Okay, they just changed the name and they changed the name to Prokaryotes. Now what they did, they include in this group all the organisms which are no longer classified as plants, animals, or fungus. If they are not plants, if they are not animals, if they are not fungus, they will be put under the group of Protista or Prokaryotes. बेशक वो multicellular हो या unicellular हो, they will be put under the group of Prokaryotes. Like for example, Euglena, Paramecium, Chlamydomonas, yeast, all the alga come under the group of Prokaryotes. Okay, the third kingdom which Margulis and Schwartz proposed was kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi का नाम इन्होंने change नहीं किया, the name was the same. Okay, but they describe it differently. How did they describe it? They describe kingdom fungi as the organism which include non-chlorophyllous multicellular eukaryotic organism which have cell wall. Okay, which have cell wall. So these organisms, like for example, they are mushrooms. Okay, mushrooms comes under fungi. It includes non-chlorophyllous multicellular eukaryotic organisms. Okay, so different things were there. They discuss it differently, like non-chlorophyllous, multicellular, eukaryotic, and having cell wall. Okay, they were placed under the group of fungi. Then we come to the second last, that is kingdom Plantae. The name is the same as it was in the Robert Whittaker system, but they differentiated it by the cellular level. Like for example, they told us that kingdom Plantae will contain all the chlorophyllous, multicellular, eukaryotic organism having cell wall. So plant have chlorophyll, they are multicellular, they are eukaryotic, and they have a cell wall in them. For example, sunflower and mango are the examples of kingdom Plantae. Then we are having the last one, that is kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia contain all the non-chlorophyllous. Okay, so remember, non-chlorophyllous multicellular eukaryotic organism, and they do not have a cell wall. Okay, so there is a difference between plant and animal. There is a difference between animal and fungus. Like between plants and animal, there is a difference that animals are non-chlorophyllous. They don't have cell wall. Plant are chlorophyllous and they have a cell wall. What is the difference between animal and fungus? Animal do not have cell wall and plant have a cell wall. So this is how they classified the organisms. They introduced a new method for the organism to be classified. So this is all about the Margulis and Schwartz classification. Let's see if you have any question, discuss it so that we can wind it up. Okay, now if you have any question regarding Margulis and Schwartz classification, you can ask. Prokaryotes In Protoctista, what they did, listen again. In Protoctista, they changed the name of Protista to Protoctista. And then what they did, they put all the organisms which was not classified as plants, which were not classified as animals, which were not classified as fungus or prokaryota. We all put those organisms in Protoctista. It means all the odd organisms were put in the Protoctista. Prokaryota means again the same organism which contain prokaryotic cell in them. Any other? Any other question, or it is clear?
Sir, please re-explain the kingdom of fungi.
Kingdom fungi. Okay, first of all, prokaryotic cell, beta, Lubna, I am telling you time and again, it is a cell which do not contain a true nucleus in them. That is the same as Robert Whittaker explained, okay? Okay, now I'm telling about fungus again. Fungus is a group of organisms which are non-chlorophyllous. It means they do not have chlorophyll in them. They are multicellular, they are eukaryotic, okay, and they contain a cell wall. That is called fungus. Any other? Yes, alga is put under the group of Protoctista. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you for your time. मैंने 15 मिनट आज ज़्यादा ले लिया आप लोगों के, but topic complete हो गया हमारा. Chapter number 3 is completed. Okay. So congratulations again for the next chapter. So we normally have completed the chapter which were included in the June, but we will study more as well, inshallah. Okay. So it's done now. You can leave the class. Thank you so much for your time. Inshallah, see you people tomorrow.